gentlemen, onto the stage I'd like to call upon the forces behind Bambai, Meri, Jaan. Please welcome Mr. Sushant Sriram, Country Director of Prime Video India, and Ms. Aparna Purohit, Head of India Originals Prime Video. Welcome to both of you. Always a pleasure, always a pleasure. Good to see you guys. Starting with you, Sushant. It's been a super busy year, for Prime Video, and you have delivered blockbuster after blockbuster. We are the binge watchers. So we are on it and kept audiences entertained throughout. Now, audiences not just in India but across the world, and has loved every single one of your series. And thank you so much for that. But how do you think the viewers of India and outside our country will react to this show, Bambai Meri Jaan, and what can audiences expect from Prime Video from here on?
First of all, thank you, Sachin, and I must say you are dressed absolutely on point.
When in Rome, do what the Romans do. So
yeah,
just
this is just the vibe of Bambai Meri Jaan. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us here today. How do I think audiences are going to react to Bambai Meri Jaan? Was that your question? I think they're going to be blown away. I think every episode of the series is going to hook them to the next, and the next, and the next. And I think you'll be able to stop only once you're done, truly. And you're right, the year has been absolutely incredible for us at Prime Video. Indian originals are definitely breaking through on the global charts. And 2023 kind of feels like the high point of, where we have come so far. We had Farzi, we started off the year with Farzi earlier in the year. It not only received the biggest opening for a local, show on Prime Video ever. It was streamed by viewers in over 170 countries worldwide. It entered the top 10 trending lists in multiple countries worldwide. So clearly, it found a global stage because the story was phenomenal. And we had docu-series like Dancing on the Grave, with Cinema Mate Dam Tak, and more recently with the A.P. Dillon First of a Kind docu-series. And we saw some amazing unscripted entertainment for our customers, and they love it. Then we had Jubilee, then we had Happy Family Condition Supply. Two shows that couldn't be more different in their genres, but couldn't be any more similar in the kind of adulation they received. So, and of course, how can we talk about The Fabulous took on another chapter, another season of the widely loved Made in Heaven that scaled a global milestone very soon after its launch. It entered the top 10 trending lists across multiple countries again, right? Obviously, huge fan love in India too. So, our partnership with Excel is rich, it's thick, it's deep, and just this year, we're back here again, so it feels phenomenal. And just one last piece on what I believe Bambai Meri Jaan really is going to help us do is we see about 25% of our audiences on Prime Video for our shows and movies coming from outside India. And we feel thrilled that we are, at Prime Video at the forefront of taking these Indian stories to a global audience. And with Bambai Meri Jaan, our confidence, our belief, and our excitement to take this to the global audience is higher than ever. In fact, as you were saying earlier, it's going to be available in more than 30 Indian and international languages on the day of launch, on the 14th of September. It's a story that I think is going to travel across borders. It's agnostic of language, it's agnostic of geography. It's just such a brilliantly told story, and kudos to Shujat and the entire team. And it was only apt that we mount it in a manner that it takes it to the world. So I'm happy to announce that we will be hosting the global premiere of Bambai Meri Jaan in London next week. I will stop at that.
Chalo, I got to book my tickets for London now. Yeah?
You should.
But thank you for giving us always a mixed platter of genres and dishing out some of the best content. So thank you so much. Aparna, my question to you. Now, you are still celebrating the success of Made in Heaven. The reviews that it's got, the views that it's got. So it's been incredible, and which is also by Excel Media and Entertainment, as Sushant also mentioned, and Tiger Baby. Now, audience owners in Prime. Please put your hands together for the producers of this epic saga, Ritesh Sidlani and Kasing Jagmagia from Excel Media and Entertainment. Welcome to both of you. Good to see you. Welcome. Question to both of you is, from whatever we've seen, heard of Bambai Meri Jaan, here's a larger-than-life crime drama with top-notch cinematic skill and some mega-talented actors about to hit us on the 14th of September. We want to know more. What can we expect?
We knew this story required a certain scale and canvas, and we kept that in mind while we were writing it. It spans over multiple decades, so the entire team came together to, for the minutest detailing and research. We wanted to give the audience an immersive experience so that we could transform them into that era and time. We've done what we had to, and hoping the viewers like what we had.
We're looking forward to it. Your participation.
Hi, good afternoon. So I think they've summed it up all till now very well about what the show is going to be. I think the expectation will be set when you see the trailer, and all I can tell you is that whatever you see in the trailer, I personally feel that that promise will be delivered by the time you finish it. So, and like Aparna said, like the kind of genre it falls into, it's the one which I think people resonate, they love watching a lot with, and I think the story, and the writing of it had such beautiful characters. So it just became easy when you had this perfect cast which came and completed them. It's a fictional story, but you just get so immersed into their world that you almost start believing into them. So I think watch the trailer and then we can talk more.
We are geared up to get transported into that era and that world. So thank you so much and wishing you the best. May I request you please take the hot seat so that we could roll out the red carpet for the Thank you. Thank you. Myra, that's two. Welcome to all of you. The trailer looks super powerful, super impressive. We can't wait for the 40th. May I request you please step forward a little so we could set the stage for a nice chat. We get more details, insights about Bambai Meri Jaan.
कैसे हैं आप लोग?
बढ़िया बढ़िया।
फोटो करते हैं। फोटो।
Good, no problem. The music will be nice.
I'm straight.
I'd also like to invite Ritesh, Kasim, Sushant and Aparna back on stage.
सर आगे।
Look.
Center guys, center. हाँ। अब अंदर आइए।
Hold off a little later. We will. Yeah, I request you please be seated. Take your seats. We could have. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I just have those here. Mike. Thank you. Well, to badai, congratulations to all of you for the trailer launch, and we love the trailer. Did we?
Yes.
How do we appreciate it? With a huge round of applause and welcome. Thank you. Okay, sir. Today's सवाल जवाब आप सभी के साथ, starting with you. We'd all love to know more about your character. You've played a role of cop many times earlier as well. How is Ismail Qadri different from the previous characters that you've played?
I've actually, is it working? Yeah, okay. I've actually said this many a time. तो जिन्होंने सुना है बोल मत होना. I normally play people. I don't play roles. अक्सर क्या होता है कि जब हम बोलते हैं कि हम कॉप का रोल प्ले कर रहे हैं तो आपने देखा होगा कि एक ज़माने में दायां हाथ बायां हाथ सामने करके दायां हाथ से लगे और बोलते हैं कि 19 तारीख की रात को तुम कहाँ थे, तो वो कॉप का रोल हो गया. But I normally play people, so no two persons are the same in this world. There can be a limited number of roles. There can be 25,000 roles, for example, a cop, a professor, lawyer, whatever. But each person is different. So I tend to play that person more than the role. So if I played a cop before, I played that person. So once upon a time, Rakesh Maria is different from Ismail Qadri, who is different from a Mansoor Dalal in Farzi. So I tend to play people, so automatically it becomes different.
And you're a natural and we love you for that. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Avinash, my questions for you. You've been on a roll, especially in crime drama series, but in this show it really seems like you're going to hit the ball out of the park because we want to know how was your experience playing Dara Qadri. Also tell us a bit about your character.
Well, thank you so much for this. Good afternoon, everyone. I was present here. Thank you for being here. I think when script came to me, when Shuja sir sat down with me and started sharing about what the show is all about, honestly, as an actor, I was shitting bricks. I didn't know if I had the capability to pull this off. But the fact was, what really excited me was the fact that this guy came from hunger and took those ladders to finally come to a position of power. That, I think, was something which really excited me. The whole journey of how they traverse and he becomes what he becomes. Yes, he is a gangster. He has his own consequences for the actions that he takes. But the internal story, the story of the family, the relationships, those were the things that really, really made me feel that this is going to be an immersive experience. And I'm just glad I'm a part of it. I got a chance to play this guy who's apparently Bambai ka Naya Badshah. He's pretty cool, right?
Mumbai ka Naya Badshah ko Avinash. So thank you and wishing you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now, the gangster story has some very, very powerful female characters, and we would like to know, you're from the women of Bambai, Meri, Jaan, and starting. Kritika, good to see you. Now, Lon, check.
Yeah?
Yeah. Likewise, now Bambai, Meri, Jaan is such strong male characters. How was it to be a part of it? And as we just saw in the trailer, this is completely different, a completely badass avatar, if I must say, that you have, we are seeing of you. So we want to know more about that.
Absolutely. The show Bambai Meri Jaan is about, focuses on these strong male characters, but believe me, the women in the show are also very, very strong and powerful. And like you said, I mean, a badass character is very delicious. Ask any actor, it's the most fun to play. And this is the first time I am playing something, a character that's doing these badass things. And that's what made it most exciting for me actually, because I'm the good girl always. So thank you, Shraj sir, for seeing the bad in me and, thinking of me and making me a part of this epic saga.
We look forward to that new avatar of yours and wishing you the best.
We do.
Thank you so much. Nilda ma'am, the questions for you. You play Sakina, the mother, the pillar of the house, trying to keep everyone together. A little more about your character, if you could please tell us.
Yes, hello, namaste everyone. First of all, I'd like to say, Sakina, when she happened to me, I wasn't prepared for Sakina to happen to me. But when she did, I'm so glad that Sakina happened. And thank you, Shuja, for having faith in me as Sakina. Sakina, can I say something? When the script came to me, I think I briefly had mentioned to Shujat, but my take when the script came to me, I thought it's a love story. Backdrop में सब कुछ चल रहा है, गुंडागर्दी, मार पिटाई, everything, but primarily it's a love story. It is. So Sakina is the one who, जिसके लिए family बहुत important है, a love for her husband, a love for her son. The whole thing is for her family, her house, everything is what Sakina's world is all about. What's happening outside is just maybe a byproduct of what's happening in the house for her, Sakina. So for me, just looked at it as a beautiful love story, and the backdrop is the world of crime.
Now मैं resist करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ पर हो नहीं रहा है. ये सवाल पूछना बनता है कि how was it working with your husband, KK sir, yet again?
पहले तो मैं ये बोल दूँ कि me becoming Sakina, I don't know if I could have been a better or a worse Sakina based on who my screen husband is going to be. But yes, having said that,
He's still somewhere. Can't wait. 10 days to go. I'll have to wait.
He learnt a lot. I taught him a lot. Don't worry.
But all the best. Congratulations. Next question for both Sujat and Renzel. You just spoke to the amazing cast. Now, how did you bring this talented ensemble cast together, and what was the casting process like?
Well, yeah, there are very interesting anecdotes to everyone's casting. Actually, Avinash he suffered a lot because before I locked onto him, there was an 8-month period while I was flirting with other actors. But there's something that I saw in his screen test that he did, which always remained with me, and I just could not shut that off. And I thought he would be the perfect guy because there were many auditions and there were lots of actors that, of course, we auditioned for the part. There was something that was special. I could never put my finger on it, but I knew that he would be the guy. And of course, with Renzel, discussions with Renzel in terms of the character and the development, and when we sat through that, it really worked out. Fantastic. Interesting one about KK as well is that I had initially approached him for another character for the show, and he read the script and he said, "I want to come and meet you." And I said, "Of course." Another interesting thing that KK and I have been trying to work for the last 20 odd years, but it has never gone through. And I was really, really desperate to work with him on this one. And he met me and he said, "What about Ismail's character? Have you asked it for him?" I said, "No, not yet." So it's like, I would be really kind of keen, and I thought that was fantastic of him because the character has multiple shades. It's not a very black and white narrative that Renzel and the writers have put together. It plays in the grey areas. What is really interesting is that we have stripped people of the labels of relationship and treated them as individuals. So it is a man versus man, not necessarily a father versus father. So the power dynamics really kind of change. It so happens to be about providing. The one who provides becomes the alpha of the family, and how those dynamics change between two men, and the repercussions that the family as well as the city
on various crime stories in various different languages. We were very confident when we were making this that it's going to sort of cut across Indian diaspora and go far and wide. Amazon Prime has been great partners, and they're sort of leaving no stone unturned to put this out there in a big way. Thanks for doing that.
Thank you, Nitish.
I think what Amazon has managed to do is this time, I think the language, dubbing it in so many languages. I think because there is, it's not that every show lends itself. I think like Kasim said, Aparna earlier, that it's just the genre goes and sits in the forefront of what people like consuming in the format we are in. And if it has a possibility, which we all believe, that it can go out of the diaspora. And I think with what happens is with language also, there are a lot of people sometimes with the subtitles don't get into it. There are a section. So I think they're even now going within those 240 countries to try to get in that audience. Maybe they would not want to. I'm sure it's subtitled in a lot of languages as well. So I think it gives it, and if you have I think what happens is you have an opportunity with an amazing story like this, written by Hussain Saab, which is here, who's here, and you have such amazing actors. You have an opportunity of taking your talent both in front and behind the camera and showcasing it to a global audience. So I think my expectation is after the 14th in 1 week, Aparna Cosby versus Ritesh do season 3, 2 and 3 immediately. That's the plan.
Partners in crime, going global hand in hand. Yeah?
Right.
Yeah. Congratulations on that. Renzo, coming back to you, tell us about the world building of the show. The research was undertaken, the entire creative process of building Mumbai of the 70s and the characters, the looks, the different arcs the series has.
I think one of the high points of this show is and I think that's where the genesis of the name also comes to. When you say Bambai Meri Jaan, is that it's not just a crime thriller, it's also chronicling the rise of the city and hence the organized crime within the city. So as the city kind of sprawled out through the decades, so did these fiefdoms, these gangs. You see the turf wars between them, and finally you reach the point after the 60s and the 70s to the 80s where you actually have the beginnings of what you can now call organized crime. So I think the world building, a lot of it is, while it's a fictional show, a lot of it is also in the public domain. And I think people like Shujat and me or Bombay Boys, we've heard this as we've been growing up, right? We've heard the stories about these gangsters, we've heard the story about the underbelly. And so when we create this piece, this fictional piece, I think the world building is something we've lived with. So it comes easily to us. And also there is then, a lot of crime reportage that you can delve into and, use to kind of build the building blocks of this world. As far as these characters and the look of these characters, I think Shikar is actually a better person to ask about it.
Yeah, in terms of creating the visual world, there was extreme amount of detailing for sure, because we wanted to transport the audience to believe that it is happening during that era. That was really essential. The genesis of it, of course, came from Hussain Zaidi Saab, whose story is based on, we all know what a commendable journalist he is and what a career he's had. But the visual world coming together was very painstakingly intricate. A production designer, Nitin Gaikwad, a costumier, Ziba Mirai, the hair, makeup, a specialist, Melanie D'Souza, everyone to come together to make it feel like it is from that era and not to act out. I have a huge problem in that sense, purely as a viewer. For period pieces, I see also actors acting period. I know that's strange. So we did a lot of extensive workshops with everyone in terms of body language and the language, spoken language. So we wanted it to feel organic, that these guys are not aliens in the 60s and they are not like really different from what we are right now. So the emotions right in the same way. A lot of research of 60s, 70s Bombay. Also a mammoth set, as I mentioned, which was put up because to shoot period, Mumbai is not the most friendly city because it's always grown being such a walled city. So yeah, a lot of hard work of put in over the years bring it to life.
Now, adding to that perfect visual creation that you've done, the world building, there's also the music. We just heard Shivani perform Set the Tone this afternoon, and the track has been everywhere. And we want to know, what is the thought when you're actually putting the music and the sound together for Bambai Meri Jaan?
Very honestly, it came from a lot of inspiration from the 70s and 80s Bollywood films. I've been a huge fan of Manmohan Desai and Prakash Mehra. So a lot was coming from there. To have the music again as an integral part of that world building. That's why I thought of Shivani to in fact sing the title track, which was raspy 70s jazz number, beautifully penned by Varun Grover, the lyrics of it. We have a lot of music in the show as well, in terms of background score and songs put in. Because some interesting Konkani numbers as well. Coming in because
Lights into Bambai Meri Jaan. We can't wait for the 14th of September for it to drop on Prime Video. I request all of you to please step forward for a photo op. Yeah, and some music would be nice. In the meantime, we'll also set the stage for the photo op and clear the chairs. Thank you.